Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeCharis, CPA, coming to you live from downtown Flushing, New York for another amazing episode of How to Win at Business. And if you're watching live, give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay because it makes me feel good. And tonight, this isn't really stealth. It is. It is stealth. Yesterday wasn't stealth when I talked about how to get rid of penalties, but this is definitely going stealth. Nobody wants to get audited. So the best way to not get audited is to just follow a few simple rules. Okay? It's really pretty simple. If you dot all the I's, cross all the T's, there is very little chance that you will get audited. There is always the so-called, random audit that there's no real, there's no like smoking gun, like, oh, this must have triggered the audit. Like some kind of wacky tax deduction on the wrong line, just, I'll tell you what gets people audited. Being a sole proprietor is probably the easiest way to get audited. And add to that, if you're a sole proprietor doing your own return, you have a high risk of being audited. Why? Because, first of all, the IRS considers sole proprietors as unsophisticated. And most sole proprietors don't keep good books and records, and they're more than likely to have made a mistake on their tax return. So if you do your TurboTax or, go on the IRS, free, do it yourself, that's fine. But you're increasing your chances of being audited. And some of this is just common sense. So how do you decrease your chances? So I could definitely tell you ways to increase your chances. Like I just said, if you're a sole proprietor, no good. Okay. So that's why one of my greatest, easiest solutions to go in stealth is to do business as an s-corp. S-corps don't get audited nearly as much as sole proprietors. Not percentage-wise. It's so disproportionate. It's not even funny. It's like 100 or 1,000 to 1. It's like for every s-corp audit, there's 1,000. Maybe not that much, but it's very, very disproportionate. Have a professional do your return, even if it's H&R Block or R&G Brenner. Your chances of getting audited when your return is done by a CPA, enrolled agent, tax attorney, or one of those large franchises, even Liberty Tax Services, because they follow procedures. They have, checks and balances. They don't do bogus returns. So that's, a simple way to not get audited. File your returns on time. Okay. File everything on time. Don't not file. I've seen just recently a couple of people that they were sole proprietors, got a big tax bill and couldn't pay it and just never filed. I mean, for years. And those people are a high risk of being audited. So those are just a couple of ways to not get audited. Now, there's a lot of different types of audits also. There's not just IRS audits. There's sales tax audits, a lot of sales tax audits. So I mentioned that in my mastermind group a couple of weeks ago about, how sales taxes are actually the most complicated tax there is. And again, if you're doing it yourself, good luck. Have a professional, an accountant doing your sales tax returns, because it's not simple. It's not straightforward. It's not a do-it-yourself type of thing. It just isn't. It's not possible to do it yourself and do it correctly all the time. There's just too many moving parts, and too many people interested in your business. If you have employees at Department of Labor, workers' comp, they do audits regularly. Okay, now if you have a workers' comp policy, they do, they call it an audit every year, and that's required. And that's a different type of audit, though. Those are, just insurance audits. They're not tax audits. What we want to avoid, the tax audits. Okay, so now I have had construction companies that were getting audited by departments I didn't even know existed. Okay, so you got wage and hours, you got so you got to keep your records in order, just in case you don't avoid the audit, because nothing is set in stone. And if you're diligent and you keep good books and records, the only problem with an audit is the time it's going to take, the time and the expense. But if your stuff is in order, the audit will go smoothly and quickly and hopefully painlessly. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. Avoid the audit at all costs. Don't do your own taxes. It's a minefield out there, and it's getting worse. Joe DeChara, CPA, over and out. God bless. I will be back again.